Hey, folks, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? This is the Free America Radio Network. Thank you, Brian Lang, over there at Live Truth Radio on WakingUpTheMasses.com and LiveTruthRadio.com. Hey, I didn't get a chance to listen to the show. I'll go back and listen to it on the on the archives. Because I was prepping for this show, and guess what I found out, folks? Yeah, something. Yeah. Now, I want to direct your attention to... I want to direct your attention to Free America Radio on Facebook. I want you to go to the first article you see right there. Actually, it's a PDF. Actually, it's not a PDF. I'm sorry. I correct myself. It's Assembly Bill 1014, amended in the Senate, California Senate, May 28th, 2014. Amended in the Assembly, May 8th, 2013. Amended in the Assembly, April 24th. 2013. Amended in the Assembly April 9th, 2013. Amended in the Assembly March 21st, 2013. Let me tell you what this is, folks. Legislative Council's Digest. That's the big headline right there in the middle of it. But it was produced and created February 22nd, 2013. And it says, an act to amend Section 18250 of, and to add Division 3.2 commencing with Section 18100 to Title 2 of Part 6 of the Penal Code, to amend 8105 of the Welfare and Institutions Code relating to firearms. AB 1014. Go to your favorite search engine and look that up. I like to use Catherine Albrecht's startpage.com. AB 1014, as amended, Skinner. What is crossed out in red? It says Energy, Electrical Corporation's Green Tariff Shared Renewable Program. Why was that crossed out? Gun Violence Restraining Orders. I'm going to read this, and some of it, highlight the main points of it when I get back from the break. The obligatory break at the 5 after mark. I always like to do that. That way I can just introduce you to the show and then take that little 1.5 to 2 minute break, come on back, and we hit the show till the bottom of the hour. But I want to make sure that you folks understand what you're up against. They're after your guns, period. They've got wide open borders now. Legally, they're sending and taking the illegals over here. Well, they're illegal. They're accepting them. And now they want to take your guns. I'll be back right after this.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
It's time to take our republic back, folks. Brian Bonner, the uncooperative radio show host, will tell you how. Join us for the ride of your life. Using humor and the facts, we'll expose the news that the mainstream media refuses to report. The Constitution is a solution, and we can prove it. Listen in and find out what it means to be an uncooperative citizen of these United States. You can find our show at uncooperativerradio.com, and we are rebroadcast on redstatetalkradio.com.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Crab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com.
For the best Southern, classic, and new rock, along with kicking country and R&B, check out Wildcat Radio for the Friday night party. The fun begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with local, state, and national news from the Alabama News Network at the top and bottom of every hour. It's Wildcat Radio's Friday night party, a division of the Vulcan Internet Broadcast Company.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Well, folks, how you doing? Hey, a little technical issue there. My mouse seems to want to not work. So, anyway, it's a freaky deaky mouse, cheapy iHome mouse that freezes up when it just feels like it wants to freeze up. Anyway, how y'all doing? This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. From the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. How y'all doing? How are you? Yes, this is the Free America Radio Network on the 11th of June, 2014. Broadcasting also on wakingupthemasses.com, Spreaker.com, freeamericaradio.us, and 1610 in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. How are y'all doing out there in Georgia? Huh? All right, Mr. Bob Brutus. He's the big head honcho and all that. He's the head cheese at the Waking Up the Masses Radio Network. How you doing? We like to give Mr. Bob Brutus a hard time. I mean, you know, we like the guy. Okay, we can do that. Anyway, lots of stuff going on. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Click on the link. Right there it says Bill Text AB 1014 Gun Violence Restraining Orders. And I'm going to read just the parentheses. Is that right? I'm going to read the numbers in parentheses. There we go. That works. And then if I have to, I'll read some of the other stuff. But this is AB Assembly Bill, AB 1014. Number 1. Existing law regulates the sale, transfer, possession, and ownership of firearms, including prohibiting specific persons from owning or possessing firearms. Existing law, among other things, prohibits a person subject to a domestic violence protection order, protective order, I should say, from owning or possessing a firearm while that order is in effect or if prohibited by that order. Number 2, existing law requires specific law enforcement officers to take temporary custody of any firearm or deadly weapon in plain sight or discovered pursuant to a lawful search when present at the scene of a domestic violence incident involving a threat to human life or physical assault. Existing law requires, this is number 3, existing law requires the Department of Justice to request public and private mental hospitals, sanitariums, and institutions to submit to the department information necessary to identify persons who are admitted to a specified facility because the person is a danger to himself, herself, or others, or to own, possess, control, receive, or purchase any firearm. Existing law requires the department to use the information for certain specific purposes. Number 4, the California Constitution requires the state to reimburse local agencies and school districts for certain costs mandated by the state. Statutory provisions establish procedures for making that reimbursement. And it goes down below. It says the people of the state of California do enact the following. This is, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's Section 1, Division 3.2, Gun Violence Restraining Orders, and it goes down through Section 18100, 18101, and onward and so forth, and thus and such. I'm going to say this. If you caught me in the first 5 minutes of the show, you know what I'm going to say. They are after your guns, period. I don't want to hear your gun-grabbing morons out there tell me in an email that, well, we're trying to keep the neighborhood safe, and we're trying to keep this... You guys have your heads up your ass. I don't even know if you gun-grabbing morons know what the Constitution says. You're probably one of those people that when you are approached by Mr. Mark Dice with his little, let's just say tongue-in-cheek surveys. And he says, well, the federal government says we're going to have to abolish the Bill of Rights for your freedom. And people actually sign the thing. You were probably one of those people out there encouraging all these people to get rid of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I got a message for you gun-grabbing morons out there. Yes, I'm calling you names. Do you know why? Because you're freaking morons. I got a message for you. And it's this. My Second Amendment right to carry my firearm protects your First Amendment right to say stupid things. You understand me? Oh, and by the way, when the government is through with you and they use you to the fullest extent that they're able to, they're going to chew you up and spit you out. You're not going to be part of their club, part of their inner circle. You are going to be chewed up, spit out, vomited onto the pavement, and probably run over a few times. Now, I say that because I look back in history. Is that something you do? No? You should. Stalin wiped out half of his family, if not most of them, because he was paranoid that one of his family members or so might turn him in, might go to the other side and tell them. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you don't think that that's ever... If you don't think that that's not going to happen here, that we're not going to get rounded up, that our weapons are going to be confiscated, that, if you don't think any of that is ever going to happen, you live in a very fanciful utopia where pink unicorns with, Skittles are falling from the sky. You obviously do not know your history. You gun-grabbing pieces of trash morons. 3% of the colonists in 1774-75 decided to defy King George. King George went and sent his army, the British Army, the most powerful army in the world of that time, over to the colonists. To do what? To take their guns. And guess what? 3% of those colonists, the population of that time, kicked their ass. So you gun-grabbing morons have one thing to look forward to. Yeah. Go ask the descendants of Santa Anna what we did to him. Do you really think you're going to have a wonderful day when you try to come take our guns? That ain't happening, moron. Wow, you sound bitter. You sound really frustrated and pissed off. Well, let me walk into your house without being invited. As a matter of fact, let me jump your fence and come into your yard, kick down your door, eat your food, take the money out of your wallet, go do what I want to do, grab your car keys, and drive around town and bring your car home with 1/8 of a tank of gas in it, drop your keys off, and say bye. You wouldn't like that too well, would you? Yeah. Let me come into your house and do all that and then take your gun and just give it to the police saying, this guy doesn't need it. Here you go. And let me call a bunch of my friends and come over to your house and just have a party and sleep in the backyard and not do a damn thing to help you out. Yeah, I'm segueing into immigration, okay? One last little tidbit for you gun-grabbing morons out there. And I don't care who you are. You can stand behind Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein all you want. They are the two most treasonous pieces of trash in California. My message, my last piece of message is this. If you ever decide that you're going to push the gun confiscation issue, you are going to have so many people against you that it's going to not only make your head spin, you might as well just pack your crap and move to China or Russia where you will be safe. Hey, I'm only trying to protect you. Okay? Is there going to be a civil war in this country? Is there going to be an us against them scenario? Guaranteed. It's going to be the federal government against we the people. And I guarantee you there's not enough firepower on either side to make anyone a winner. Now, I say that because I wanted to drive into this area, and I thought about this earlier today, that if you have a bunch of people fighting, and you can go and look at the examples of Iraq, Tunisia, Egypt, Cairo, what's happening over there. You can go to all these places that are having these little skirmishes and the people against their corrupt government, and you will see basically the massive protests and destruction of property and all that goes along with it. But then you'll see the cleanup. You know, the most reasonable, I don't even want to say reasonable, the perfect example of all that is Jerusalem, Israel. Some days you'll see video and people are going to work and people are having their shops open and all this and hey, wonderful, fantastic. And then boom, somebody will come in and send a missile from Hamas or from the Palestine area and blow up a section of the city and, you know, that kind of crap. Is that going to happen here? I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. With this AB 1014, getting back to that for a minute. No matter what, your neighbor could be hearing you and your wife arguing, which you have done for probably quite some time. But the neighbor is now understanding that, not that he may know what AB 1014 is, but he may be kind of concerned after hearing you guys argue, and he may call the cops. So he will be the RP calling on a 1016. And the cops show up at your house, and why are you arguing? You're really, really loud. And remember, Fourth Amendment doesn't exist. Well, in the eyes of the police officer, it doesn't exist. He may have, quote unquote, probable cause. Somebody that night may be arrested. And if that's the case, there might be a psych eval. And if that's the case, guess what, folks? You and your wife lose your weapons for self-protection. For good. That's all it's going to take, folks. That's all it's going to take. Now, an example was given to me once. Well, what about Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook situation? His mother purchased those guns legally. And it is said in the state-run media that she was also anti-government. No, she wasn't. She was frustrated, but from what I have gathered, she wasn't anti-government. I'm anti-corrupt government. What difference does that make? Oh my God, I'm channeling Hillary Clinton. And she's not dead yet. So, what about Adam Lanza? He took the guns from his mother, allegedly, state-run media propaganda, and did what he did. Kind of an interesting situation there. So let's use something like that as an example. Who has their guns taken away? Well, of course, the parents. But the parents have to prove their innocence. Well, their kid committed a crime. Why does the parents have to, show their innocence, prove their innocence? Because the guns are registered in their name? That's going to take years, folks. And in the meantime, those guns are put up for auction. Yeah, you go in your town at some point, and you may want to call your local law enforcement office to find out. There are police auctions. And poof, your guns are gone. Just all because you were yelling at your wife or your husband. All because the kid was yelling out in the front yard and the neighbor got kind of concerned, so she called the police, and the police came to your house and pretty much, you know the rest of the scenario. 2 words, SWAT team. You see the point with AB 1014? Doesn't matter. You can stub your toe and be yelling at the top of your lungs, throwing crap around the house because you got pissed off that you stubbed your toe. Cops will show up. SWAT team, you throw your ass on the ground, handcuff you in the back, take all your weapons, unhandcuff you, look at you and go, have a nice day, sir. That's all it's going to take. Now, I haven't got any more information about AB 1014 or whether or not it's been repealed or whatever. But chances are it hasn't because of the amendment to it on May 28th, 2014. But I just have to say this. California is done. California is in the hole. California is not only in the hole, they've been in the toilet for so long that just recently somebody finally flushed it. California is done. California makes parts of China look like a freer portion of, words cannot describe what California looks like. Not all of California is beautiful. I grew up there, born and raised in Stockton, California. San Francisco, LA, all these places, the mountains, wonderful, fantastic places. The government of California sucks big time. Okay? They've sucked when Ronald Reagan was governor. My mom said that Pat Brown, the father of Jerry Brown, he sucked too. So what's the point? AB 1014 has to be repealed. Has to be repealed, has to be taken off the books. And people in California better step up to the plate. Or as Brian Lang likes to say, stand up, speak out, and get involved. You better go surround that Capitol building in Sacramento, California, and hold up a big old sign with big red circle with a big red line through it with AB 1014 in it. Matter of fact, right now, as of the 11th of June, 2014, I call upon all Californians to do that. All law-abiding Californians to do that. If you can get to Sacramento with signs, with bullhorns, with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of people to surround that Capitol building, do it. Because your freedoms are at stake. Now, do I want somebody who committed a domestic violence to not have a gun? I want them to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, as the law sees it. But everybody has a right to protect themselves. I don't know, folks. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. I mean, I'm just saying, okay? I'm just putting it out there, okay? You guys can do whatever you want, but I would really seriously get a pack of people down there, hundreds of thousands of people down there, and just start protesting like mad and get rid of AB 1014. That's my word to you. And on that note, I'll be back. Mainstream science argues that if something can't be touched, measured, quantified, and duplicated in a laboratory, then it doesn't exist. According to this worldview, reality is an unconscious, non-personal mass of matter, which leaves no room for the existence of spiritual or unexplained phenomena. But is that all there really is to reality? Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman don't think so, and after reading this book, neither will you. In The Grid, paranormal investigators and best-selling authors Jones and Flaxman present their theory of the grid, a divine superstructure that includes multiple levels of existence, the entirety of which makes up our reality. Jones and Flaxman will show you how to release the limiting belief that this is all there is once and for all by exploring the grid, expanding your awareness, and empowering your life in the process. Reality, dear friend, will never be the same again. The Grid, Exploring the Hidden Infrastructure of Reality by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. Listen to Crash Talk with your host, Christopher John Taylor, on HTLA973.com.
Misfit is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene. Destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 515 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And Southnet 1.
All aboard! Train. Gonna love you. Take the last train to Boston. See them both run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razorblade Express with Dave the Rave.
Hey, folks, welcome back. Yes, this is the Views Express Live on Free America Radio Network for the 11th of June, 2014. Now that I've taken a half hour to rant, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. There's a video that you need to watch. It's about 10 minutes or so long. Please, I encourage you to watch that. Alert, America under attack. Massive coordinated stage shooting gun control operation underway. You might find that interesting, but you assess it yourself. Also from freedomoutpost.com. DHS armored vehicles and support helicopters target small town. Guess where, folks? Kalispell, Montana. I've been there. I've been to Missoula, I've been to Great Falls, been to Helena, been to Butte, been to Billings. Yep. John Whitehead contributed to paulcraigroberts.org to a column, wrote a column for that site. Washington is arming against the public. Check that out, folks. Also, Citizens for Freedom, Patriots, U.S.-Mexican border shutdown. Check that one out. It's a video, so you would check that one out. Hey, this whole thing about land grabbing, especially in Otero, New Mexico. The real reason why the feds are grabbing land, okay? And that's at abovetopsecret.com. Some of the stuff there I don't agree with, but I like this. Now, I mentioned this, either yesterday or the day before. TheGuardian.com, Asian slave labor producing prawns, seafood, for markets in the U.S. and the U.K. Okay? I don't know. Don't shop at Walmart, people, okay? Just don't. If you can shop local, please do. Help them out. FreedomOutpost.com report DHS armored vehicles and support helicopters target small town of Kalispell, Montana. Last week, Attorney General Eric Holder launched a domestic terrorism task force. A new executive committee claims it will help keep America safe. But Holder's own comments suggest what should be obvious, that the initiative is designed to target any American believed to be engaging in quote-unquote dangerous and broadly defined extremist activity. Folks, they define extremist activity as you and I being patriots against corrupt government and against the tyranny coming out of Washington, D.C., against the NDAA, against any of that. And guess what? That's what they define us to be. Okay? Returning veterans, freedom, supporters, all that. Second Amendment supporters, all that. Continuing, if this were about protecting America from terrorists, then how do we explain Eric Holder's Justice Department and the Obama administration failing to secure our southern border, where literally hundreds of thousands of unknown, unregistered illegal aliens are pouring into the United States? Isn't it possible that such a gaping security hole could be taken advantage of by foreign nationals with ties to terror organizations? The Al-Qaeda, who are funded by the CIA and your tax dollars. Yes, go look it up, folks. And others, Syrian rebels, all those, literally have said that they want to take down the United States of America. And you can go look this up. Al-Qaeda to take down United States of America. Grab your favorite search engine and go look it up. And guess where they're coming through to do it? Okay? They're the people that are coming across in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, guess what? It's a Cloward and Piven strategy. Overwhelm the Border Patrol and the officials down there so they just throw up their hands and let everybody walk through. And how many of those people do you think are terrorists? How about Hamas? How about Al-Qaeda? How about a bunch of other people? I can name them, but you probably already know them. And you are going to allow this? You are going to allow this? I think you need to question. I think you need to question your loyalties and your priorities. I really do. If this were about protecting America from terrorists, and how do we explain Eric Holder's Justice Department and the Obama administration's failing to secure the southern border, where literally hundreds of thousands of unknown, unregistered illegal aliens are pouring into the United States? Isn't it possible that such a gaping security hole could be taken advantage of by foreign nationals with ties to terror organizations? Apparently not. The real threat comes from disgruntled Americans here at home. Quote, we must also concern ourselves with the continued danger we face from individuals within our own borders who may be motivated by a variety of other causes, from anti-government animus to racial prejudice, unquote, noted Eric Holder when outlining the new plan. Eric Holder has you in his crosshairs. Continuing, well, it didn't take long for DHS to start integrating the new task force onto America's streets. Is it a coincidence that Eric Holder launches a new anti-terror agenda and then a week later Department of Homeland Security weapons of mass destruction task force teams start showing up at Liberty Movement hubs like the small town of Kalispell, Montana? Brian Lang, you should be all over this. Montana ain't that far away from you. Kalispell might be, but quote, as many who study the war on terror will agree, the apparatus implemented by the federal government to fight the phony war has been turned around on the American populace. Almost all large cities and many smaller ones have beefed up their armaments to ridiculous levels. Even the New York Times has noticed this phenomenon. Even the sparsely populated Flathead Valley, Montana is not immune from DHS intervention. With Kalispell, Montana being one of the hubs of the Liberty Movement, it comes as no surprise that DHS has set up shop there. In the interview below, there's a video there, folks. You might want to check it out. This person says, I speak to an eyewitness who followed 4 of these vehicles through town. At one point, they were flanked by air support with a .50 caliber machine gun on the back. Please take the time to comment on this article below if you live in the Flathead Valley and if you have seen similar vehicles. It's a 9-minute, 22-second video, folks. Please check it out. Continuing on with the article, either DHS has information that a terrorist attack is imminent in or around rural Kalispell, Montana, or their most recent visit was designed to intimidate the populace for their own safety, of course. The latter would make most sense because, according to the media and government, we're all right-wing extremists. Oh, get this. The source is the Organic Prepper. Quote, folks that actually do stand up for liberty are being darkly painted with a broad brush and are being grouped in with crazed shooters and deranged bombers. Let me stop right there. The 2 people in Las Vegas yesterday who shot those 2 officers, or the day before, were, they were at Bundy Ranch. And the Bundy family ran them off. Not ran them off, just kicked them off. Why? Because they were crazier than a freaking fruitcake. Folks that actually do stand up for liberty are darkly painted with a broad brush, and we are being grouped in with crazed shooters and deranged bombers. We can only expect this to get worse as people in positions of power like Eric Holder demonize our movement. Holder created a, quote, homegrown terror task force, unquote, to combat the likes of the Las Vegas shooting, literally 6 days before the shooting. Holder made his announcement. Fascinating timing, isn't it? Holder said, quote, we face an accelerating danger from self-radicalized individuals within our own borders, Holder said. As the nature of our threat we face evolves to include the possibility of individual radicalization via the internet, it is critical that we return our focus to the potential extremists here at home, unquote. Again, the source is the Organic Prepper. Charlie McGrath, an outspoken critic of government policy, echoes this concern in his most recent Wide Awake News update. Quote, you, I, our friends and neighbors are going to be labeled the cause of the problems of this country and the world. You see, if you happen to be someone who is pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-Constitution, pro-sovereign, pro-freedom, you are labeled now a domestic terrorist. It's my emphasis, folks. Continuing, and in a nation of 310 million people, when we do have the occasional nut that goes out and commits acts of heinous violence, every single time this occurs, we see the people that are trying to return to a constitutional republic are always the first suspects. Let me stop right there. We are a constitutional republic. We are not a democratic country. Throughout history, you know from your own research, if you've done it, democracies never succeed for very long. Republics do. But it's a 50-50 type of thing. So check it out. Continuing on here. Understand this is what Charlie McGrath from Wide Awake News says, and I continue at this point. Understand our country is not on the path of righteousness, is not on the path to recovery, is not on the path to some kind of sovereign republic once again. Quite to the contrary. We are on the path of global tyranny. The time is running out when we can have this free discussion, this free exchange of ideas. You and I being free thinkers is a danger to this police state. Unquote. Charlie McGrath, Wide Awake News. Naturally, this article continues, naturally, there will be those who suggest we're overreacting about the incident in Montana. The Department of Homeland Security is here to protect us, and this is yet more radicalized internet conspiracy theory. Were this true, then DHS would have deployed armored units and air support to the southern border to stop the pilgrimage, humanitarian crisis, and potential terror threat that is happening as illegal immigrants make their way across our totally unsecure border. Instead, however, they show up in Kalispell, Montana. This can only make sense in a scenario where Homeland Security, the Justice Department, and the Obama administration are now targeting average Americans in their local communities for intimidation, interrogation, and the real possibility of future incarceration. And the source of that article is shtfplan.com. You can click on that little word down there that's linked, and it says source. I'm going to say this once and for all. We're a constitutional republic. We stand on the Constitution, Bill of Rights prior to 1871. And we, the people, rule. We rule. You and I, the mom and pops in your neighborhood that started their little store 30 or 40 years ago, that are competing against stores like Walmart and Target. We, the people, who when we were kids were going around the neighborhood and mowing lawns or setting up lemonade stands out in our front yard, who now have to have a license for any of that. We the people. We the people. To form a more perfect union. What does that mean? To come together as neighbors and friends and to do what we have to do to help each other out and to survive. That is what it is. I don't know of any other country that really has that going for them. I'm going to put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. And it's from constitutionus.com. The United States Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Ratified December 15th, 1791. And in 1871, the corporations through the Rothschild banking cartel took this country back. It is time that more than 3% of the people stand up against all of the corporations and tell them Not in my backyard. Stand up. Speak out. Get involved. Thank you, Brian Lang. We, the people, have the power, for we are America. But I know for a fact, there are some pansy-ass, wimpy people that just, I don't want to cause any problem. And you gun-grabbing morons out there will have a freaking day applauding at the fact that when people get their guns taken away, you're going to be dancing a jig. You're going to be dancing around until the powers that be of the New World Order come and take you to a new home called a FEMA camp. Then where will you be, you gun-grabbing morons? I'm a patriot. I stand on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871, and I stand with my family who was in the Union Army. Yes, the Union Army. My family is from Michigan, and I had 3 or 4 members of my family in the Union Army fighting for the freedom of people many, many years ago. And I'll be damned if I dishonor their name. This country is ours. It isn't the Rothschilds. It isn't the Rockefellers. It is not the corporations. It is our home, our country. And we better live up to the moniker that we have and have had for over 238 years. The United States of America. But if you don't have the balls to do that, then hey, why don't you pack up your wimpy little ass crying all the way to the border to go to China or Russia where you belong? Bye. Don't let the border hit you on the ass on the way out. Now I know I get a little upset, a little frustrated, a little pissed off. But don't you? Do you feel intimidated? Let me ask you a question, though. And this is a very serious question. Do you feel intimidated at all when you have a police officer behind you when you're driving? Magnify that feeling and that emotion 1,000 times when you see an MRAP parked on the street somewhere, when you have a military jeep following you all over town. Yeah. Tell me how free you feel then. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, that means well-being, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Article 1, all legislative power herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. By the way, that's straight out of the Roman Empire. The Roman Republic, before somebody got a wild idea about being a dictator. That came straight out of the Roman Republic. Section 2, 1, the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors In other words, that's their job, and they're qualified to do so, of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I will go here. Section 8, subsection 15, 16. To provide, this is number 15, subsection 15, section 8, Constitution of the United States of America. Number 15, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute laws of the Union, suppress insurrection, and repel invasions. Under certain laws and certain translations, that literally means that the governor or the sheriff can request or call upon the militia. Do you know who the militia is? That's you and I, folks. That's the moms and pops. That's the aunts and uncles. That's you and I. That's we the people. Not the uniformed people that you call National Guard. Total difference. Go look it up. Subsection 16. To provide for the organizing, arming, disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively. Now get that, folks. Reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. Article number 2, section 1, subsection 8. Before he enter the execution of his office, this is what the President of the United States shall do. He shall take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear to or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Unquote. He hasn't done that, folks. He has not done that from day one. The borders are wide open. We've got foreign military on our soil. He is actively pursuing the confiscation of our weapons, and he has Muslim Brotherhood members in his inner circle. Tell me this is a constitutional president. And if you say he is, you have your head up your ass. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated. Just a little. Just a tad. Just a tiny bit. Just so frustrated that I've got to take a break at the top of the hour. And I'll come back and I'll try to calm down during the break, and I'll come back and we'll get into some other stories, okay? So don't go away. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the mainstream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Club.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
This Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
you saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever. SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, no, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
This is the views expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network, live on the 11th of June 2014, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9, from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Hello, America! Hello, waking up the masses. Hello, Chickamauga, Georgia, and Lima, Ohio. Yeah. How y'all doing out there today? This is your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I know somebody's going to be a smartass out there and say, oh, girl. Yeah, right, I know, shut up. One of those things, folks. I have to say that if you want to go to Free America Radio on Facebook, please do. I would appreciate that very much, of you liking the page, sharing it as much as you like. And, yeah. Let's go to the Constitution of the United States of America. Let's go to Article 2, Section 2. Okay. Actually, that's not what I wanted. I was reading it, sorry for the silence. I was reading what I wanted to say. What is the most important part of the Constitution of the United States of America? What is it? I believe that it's the whole thing. I believe that all in all, when you examine your own personal freedoms, you must take in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America prior to 1871. The Constitution was ratified December 15th, 1791. The Bill of Rights was, I believe, ratified by Congress on March 4th, 1791, I believe. It says here, Congress of the United States begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1791. The conventions of the number of states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. And as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. That was March 4th, 1791. And I believe the rest of it was there. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled 2/3. Hold on to that word, folks. 2/3 of both houses concurring that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes as part of the said Constitution vis-a-vis. In other words, you got to agree 75 over that. What, 75 3/4? Is that right? What is 3/4? 75%? Of the states had to say, yeah, that works for us. We'll agree to that. Articles in addition to an amendment of the Constitution of the United States proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislatures of the several states pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. There's the word there, folks. Original Constitution. Okay. Just go to your favorite search engine and look that up. Articles 1 through 10 are known as the Bill of Rights. Article the first, after the first enumeration required by the first article of the Constitution, there shall be one representative for every 30,000 until the number shall amount to 100, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress, portioning of the states for the representatives, that there shall not be less than 100 representatives, nor less than one representative for every 40,000 persons, until the number of representatives shall amount to 200, after which the portion shall be so regulated by Congress, yada, 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 yada. That's their way of saying more people, more reps. We're going to portion, we're going to split the state up where these representatives live in the districts and yada, yada, yada. Oh, you know all that, right? Article the second. This is in gray areas here, folks. This is the two articles that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, were taken out of the Bill of Rights. Article the second, no law varying the compensation of services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall be intervened. See Amendment 27. The actual article number 1, Congress. Now get this, folks. This is vitally important for your free speech, vitally important for the internet, vitally important for you standing in these areas called free speech zones or free speech areas in your city. This is vitally important to understand that overall, in all of the United States, every square inch, every square yard, every square mile, you have this to stand on. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Whatever you believe in, follow your conscience. Or abridging the freedom of speech. Free speech zones, free speech areas, free speech corrals, they're all the abridgment of your freedom of speech, period. And they are a violation of the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. Next. Or of the press, you can write and blog and do whatever it is you want to do, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, peaceful demonstrations, civil disobedience, no throwing things, no flipping cars over. I know it may sound fun, but no. And to petition the government for redress of grievances. I said it before in the last hour. People in California better get to Sacramento and get down there and oppose AB 1014. Don't know what that was? Wasn't here in the first hour? Go to your favorite search engine and look up AB 1014. The Second Amendment. Again, folks, throughout the whole United States, regardless of whatever building sign, little sign on your building, on your casinos or anything says, regardless. Now let me break this down for you. A well-regulated militia. Now I just told you about a militia. The constitutional militia. You and I, we the people, need to get together and train and work and do all that because we are here to protect the law enforcement, the military, everybody else, just in case they don't have enough personnel to combat the domestic or foreign enemies. This is what a militia is. Now, I could be wrong with that assessment, so please fill me in. Free America Radio at USA.com. Continuing with the Second Amendment. Being a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, and also the right of the people, you and I, to keep and bear arms. And remember these last four words: shall not be infringed. So all these gun-grabbing morons that want to take our guns, you better read that and you better shut the hell up. You don't like it, pack your bags, get to another country, because once we get a hold of you, we're putting you on a ship, a plane, a sub, we don't care. Get the hell out of our country. My, you're mean. People have a right to say and do whatever. Yeah. You do. You have the freedom to disagree with me. Yes, it's okay. I'm fine with that. We can sit down and have a great discussion over that. It's okay. Not a problem. Okay? Not a big deal. It's when you believe that your free speech, your moronic thoughts need to be shoved down my throat, and you need to jump over the table to pound me in the head to get me to believe what you believe. You're a freaking moron. Now get the hell out of here. I have a Second Amendment right to protect myself. Oh, and by the way, just a little side note. Just a little side note for you before you get all wild and crazy and start throwing stuff at your computer screen. My Second Amendment protects your First Amendment. So think about that one, jackass. Article number 3. This is very important due to the fact that at the time, a lot of things were not happening the way that they should. So this is why it was put in here. Article number 3. No soldier shall, in the time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner prescribed by law. Military personnel just walk into your house, say, hey, we're taking it over. Excuse me, no, you're not. Article 3, Bill of Rights, Constitution, hello. I don't give you permission to be here. Get the hell out. Okay, simple, folks. Article number 4. Oh, this is a lovely one, isn't it? The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, internet included, against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause. Folks, go to dictionary.com and look up the word probable. Go look at the Oxford Dictionary as well. Supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly prescribing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. That goes against AB 1014. Hello? Hello? You can't have it. AB 1014. You can't have that. No. Gone. I'm going to read all 10 if you're wanting to know. Yes, I'm not going to read the rest of them. You can go. You can read the rest of them. I got 9 minutes to get through the other ones. Okay, hang on. Article number 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land of or naval forces, or in the militia, or when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. That's double jeopardy right there, folks. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, self-incrimination, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Article number 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. That's going to be a tough one when we go prosecute this person in the suit at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Number 7. Article number 7 of the Bill of Rights. In suits of common law where the value in controversy shall exceed, get this, back in that day, $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by jury shall be otherwise re-examined at any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. Go to your favorite search engine, look that up. Common law. Article number 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excess fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Hello, they're violating it when a police officer shoots your dog, or shoots your kid who is playing with a toy gun out in his front yard and the cops are called. You've heard those stories, right? Article number 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. I said that slowly. You can go read that yourself. Article number 10. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Okay? And it goes on and on with other amendments to the Bill of Rights. But I have to say, there is, and that's up on Free America Radio on Facebook, there is a push, and we all know who's doing it. There is a push for, let's just say, extreme changes to the Constitution. One was battered around. I don't know if it was rumor because I can't validate it yet. That there are those in Congress that want to put forth a bill that would give that puppet in the White House a third term. I can tell you this right now. If that ever went through, you would have over 200 million people really, really pissed off. Okay? I don't know, and like I said, if I don't know, I don't know. If I don't know, I don't know. And I'm going to tell you, if I don't know something, I'm definitely going to tell you I don't know. So, with what I'm about to say, I don't know how valid this is. But I have heard and seen articles and can probably validate it through that, but I haven't done so yet. So I don't know if this is true, that there are certain members of Congress that have put forth that bill that would give the president the opportunity to run for a third term. I don't know. And if I can validate that, or if somebody can validate that, I'd like the names of the congressmen so I can call them out on air. And you should hold them accountable too. But I can tell you this much. I can tell you this. That if there was at any time in our history a time where we need to do everything we can to be as gentle and peaceful as a dove, but as cunning and as calculated as a snake, I have a distinct feeling this is that time. And if you haven't already, I do believe that you need to take your weapon of choice and learn that thing from inside out. And go train with it. I don't care if it's the double-edged, two-handed broadsword. You better learn how to use it. You better have some way to communicate with others. And you better have a way to take care of yourself if you've got to spend any length of time in some out-of-the-way place. It's incredible to me that people actually believe this piece of trash in the White House. It's just amazing to me. He's a traitor. He's a traitor to the Constitution, to the people, to Congress, to everybody else. He's a traitor. That's just the way it is. Joe Arpaio has found out, and Obama's lawyers have even said the birth certificate is a complete fraud. So what else is he? I don't know, folks. Something has to be done today. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey, there I am. Right here on the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Expressed live for the 11th of June, 2014. Yes, folks, if it sounds like I'm a little frustrated, yeah, I am. If it sounds like I'm a little pissed, yeah, I am. If it sounds that, if it sounds like, I just can't stand what's coming out of Washington, D.C. anymore. Yeah, I just can't. You know, it's impossible to like this government. You know, right? And it's not because, you know, it's because Washington, D.C. is a freaking toilet. It is. I mean, seriously. I don't know. I look at things a little bit differently than other people. And I find myself, questioning everything under the sun, and I think we all should. I think at some point, we should have the answers by now, should we not? I want to go to typing here, folks. Now, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of Joe Biden. God, what a freaking idiot. The Washington Times. Cheryl Chumley over there. Thank you, Cheryl. Joe Biden. U.S. needs constant, unrelenting stream of immigrants. That's what Joe Biden said. Oh, he said more. Vice President Joseph R. Biden told a National Association of Manufacturers crowd this week that what the United States needed was more, not fewer immigrants. Specifically, he called for a, quote, constant, unrelenting stream, unquote, for new immigrants, quote, not dribbling, but significant flows, unquote, to bolster the national economy, The Hill reported. The Hill, by the way, in Washington, D.C., The Hill is nothing but a far-left-leaning piece of trash organization. Quote, We need it badly for a purely economic point of view, unquote, Mr. Biden said, The Hill reported. Later, on Twitter, he wrote, quote, the final thing we need to do together is pass immigration reform. We need it badly. VP at Manufacturing Summit, unquote, Newsmax reported. By the way, folks, let me interject this. Anything that the government says that has comprehensive immigration reform or anything about immigration being reformed is nothing more than absolute 100% and utter amnesty. In other words, open the borders. I say, as well as hundreds of millions of other patriots say, close the damn borders. I don't mind immigration at all. As a matter of fact, I back immigration. Legal immigration. I'm not against immigration at all. I'm against illegal immigration. But we cannot have either if our country is in the toilet, folks. $18 trillion is not in the toilet. We need to close the borders, fix our economy. Then in 20 or 25, 30 years, maybe we can open them up and allow people to come back legally. Okay? Continuing on with this article at WashingtonTimes.com. I'm going to put the link on the Free America Radio Facebook page so you can follow the bouncing ball of insanity from Joseph R. Biden. And let's see, sometimes it doesn't like taking articles. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. It is posted on Free America Radio on Facebook. Continuing on, Mr. Biden predicted that opening the doors to the White House's vision of immigration reform, which is heavy on amnesty, would allow the nation's gross domestic product numbers to hike by 5.4% to $1.4 trillion over the next 2 decades, Newsmax reported. Simultaneously, he predicted that the deficit would drop by $850 billion. $850 billion in comparison to $18 trillion. Not much of a drop, is there? Quote unquote, that's real powerful economic reform. That's what Biden said. His comments come as Border Patrol agents are appealing to the federal government to help with the thousands of illegal children who have poured across the border in recent days and who are now being temporarily held in 3 separate military facilities. Meanwhile, federal authorities have predicted that the number of children illegally crossing the border without parents this year will hit 90,000, up from the average 6,500 over years past. The story was by Cheryl Chumley, Washington Times. Go check it out. What do you think, folks? What do you think? Let's see. Let's try to jump the border and go to Canada without a job, without a sponsor, without doing it the right way. Let's do that. See how long that'll last. Let's go to their, offices in their provinces and say, "Hey, I'm here and I want you to take care of me." Well, not so much up in their face like that, but you know what I mean. You know what the Canadian government would do? They'd pack your ass up and send you back to the U.S. Yeah. But, hey, hold on. Did you know that people have legally became citizens of Canada? U.S. citizens have done that. Did you know that there was the last figure I saw, there was over 2.5 million Americans living in Mexico married to Mexican nationals? And I think they carry a dual citizenship. I'm not sure. Did you know that? Did you know that there are enough Mexican citizens that they could overrun the major cartels in their area? As a matter of fact, I read an article about a year ago where a group of citizens took on the drug cartel and won and kept their town safe. I don't know what the outcome of it was, but that's what I saw. Now, my other question is to you is this. Let's say you didn't go to Mexico. Let's say you didn't go to Canada. Let's say you want to go to England. Say you want to be a citizen of England. They're totally in the toilet too, folks, so I wouldn't even think about it. But let's just say, for the illustration purposes, you need a sponsor, you need a job, you need what kind of, and they ask that on the application, not so much in England, but in Canada. I know I looked at the application, and they ask what job you have, what do you got, whatever. They ask you everything. Okay? Pertinent to your wanting to be a citizen of their country. The point is, folks, we're smart enough to do it the right way. We're smart enough to know that if we wanted to go to Honduras or Cuba or, Switzerland or Puerto Rico or something, we'd have to do it in the proper way, would we not? And we would not, I would hope, we would not want to force their government to cater to our ideologies. At least I hope not. So why the hell are people coming here telling us that we have to cater to them and do what they want and be politically correct and support their religion and their... Why? This is America, damn it, and if you don't like it, get the hell out. Now. Period. Hey, I'll even help you pack. I've had people, I got to laugh at this because I know that some of you have probably confronted this as well or been approached in this fashion. People have called me racist. I looked at them and I tell you here on air, and it's on record, I am not a racist. I have friends from every race, creed, and religion that you can think of. So I just blew you and that assessment out of the water. I had people tell me I was just all sorts of stuff. I just laughed at them. I didn't care because I know who I am. It's the other people that think they know me, the ones that live in their little cookie-cutter world, that are deluded by their own preconceived ideas. Oh, you have that, you must be this, or you have blue eyes, you must have, this. Dude, stop trying to analyze me for your own benefit. It ain't going to happen. I know who I am, so shut the hell up. Oh, and by the way, have a nice day. How can anyone... Let me go to Free America Radio on Facebook because I want to really cover this story and really give you my side of it, as well as hopefully enlighten you in some areas. But how can anyone who is a gun-grabbing, far-left liberal moron look at themselves in the mirror and think for one freaking minute they have the right to tell me to give up my guns, my freedoms, my liberties, They're freaking morons. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it 100 times more. I am done with stupid people. I'm done. AboveTopSecret.com, the real reason why the feds are grabbing land for national monuments and endangered species. This is what's really going on. There's a picture down below on this, shows a map of the United States in a very interesting way. Recently, Obama just seized another 500,000 acres of land and declared a national monument, this time in New Mexico. This is the 11th national monument designated by President Obama, taking away more land each time. For comparison, President Clinton created 19 new monuments and enlarged 3 others, while President George W. Bush used his power under the Antiquities Act 5 times. This means that no one can live in the lands they have taken, and it will be closed to vehicles and construction. Huh. Really? I'm going to put this article up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Oh, excuse me. It's already up there. Scroll on down and you'll find the real reason why the feds are grabbing land for. I don't know, folks. You're going to sit there and you're going to ask about Agenda 21 and green development and sustainable development. And, well, you know, I can sum it up like this. United Nations. Go to your favorite search engine and look up United Nations Agenda 21. Also, while you're there, look up micro apartments. They want to take you and I from all the surrounding areas, put us into the big cities, and develop upward. It's already on the books, folks. Go look it up. Go look up mass construction vertically. And I don't think you'll be surprised, but I think you'll be amazed. And as you can tell, I'm typing it in now. Right here from, I'll put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Designing and constructing public facilities, legal requirements, recommended practices, and source of assistance, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Why are they still called the Commonwealth and not the United States or state of Massachusetts? Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Office of Inspector General George W. Sullivan, Inspector General, fall of 2005, so that goes back to that. Whoops, wait a minute. Getting ahead of myself. I wanted to put this up on Free America Radio on Facebook so you can read that. Just gives you an overview. I mean, I just want to put that up there for you to take a look at and just for, you know, your own personal educational edification if if that's the case. There it is. It's on Free America Radio on Facebook. There's another one here, bidding on vertical construction public projects, also in Massachusetts. A lot of these are in Massachusetts. Okay. Now, there are so many things to cover that I want to go to. I went here earlier. I had an earlier podcast for an hour, and then the supplement half-hour mini podcast. So you might want to go check those out. Drudge Report. The Drudge Report. Yay. Lots of stuff up there. Check this out. if it comes up. From Wired Magazine, and I'll put this up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Marcus Wolfson. Google's new all-seeing satellites have huge potential for good and evil. Building SkySat 1 in the clean room of Skybox in Mountain View, California in 2013. So I'll put this up there on Free America Radio on Facebook. And I'm just putting it up there for your own, for your own benefit. You can go look this stuff up. I mean, it's right there. It connects, I would say, connecting the dots is always a good thing. And this is something that is very, very important. You want to connect the dots. You want to follow the money. You want to know what is happening, and specifically where your tax dollars are going. And they're going to places like this. From CNBC.com. I'll put this on Free America Radio as well. On Facebook, Katie Thompson wrote this. Exponential Finance on CNBC. Computers will be like humans by 2029. Google's Ray Kurzweil. You want to go check that out, folks. There's a video associated with it as well. Now, why am I telling you all this? It's real simple, folks. If you're old enough, you're going to be living it. In less than 2 decades, you won't just use your computer. You will have relationships with them. Because of artificial intelligence, computers will be able to read at human levels by 2029 and will also begin to have different human characteristics, says Ray Kurzweil, the director of engineering at Google. Quote, my timeline is computers will be at human levels such as you can have a human relationship with them 15 years from now. That's what Kurzweil says. He also says, when I say it about human levels, I'm talking about emotional intelligence. The ability to tell a joke, to be funny, to be romantic, to be loving, to be sexy. That is the cutting edge of human intelligence. That is not a sideshow. Okay? So I'm going to, I think I already did, but oh, my mouse hates me. It's not working. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook and click on the first article there. Google Guru. Computers will be like humans by 2029. I'm not sure if anyone is aware of the fact that certain universities around the country and even overseas have been developing human-like computers for years. Decades, in fact. And they've been using, or I should say, they've been researching all of this for just the same amount of time. Now, if a person, let's say, a man in his mid-40s, has an accident, but puts on an exoskeleton to help him walk, say he's paralyzed from the waist down, and he has a computer there to check all his vitals and everything, the whole 9 yards. What says someone can't hack into that? what is there that says that that hacker won't claim that exoskeleton and that person as his own in a way? When they hack into the system, they can just walk wherever they want, right? I've also, and I know that's far-fetched, but I've also seen where hackers hack cameras, baby monitors. Remember that one a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, something? That hacker hacked into the family's baby monitor and then started making noise over the monitor. It's kind of spooky, isn't it? So think about it. If you wind up being like Ray Kurzweil, who basically wants to be a cyborg, what about the hackers? You know. Try to wrap your mind around that, folks. I mean, just attempt to wrap your mind around that. Computers being like humans by 2029. Okay? I mean, just think about it for a minute, okay? Try to wrap your mind around that one. Have you? And here's a perfect example of a movie about something similar. Bicentennial Man. Or even movies such as Lawnmower Man with Jeff Fahey. Or, if you really want to get primitive or somewhat familiarized with robots that act human, how about C-3PO from Star Wars? Interesting, isn't it? I remember last year we watched the remake of Total Recall, and the guy had a phone in his arm. Had the panel, had the old membrane right there, and you just punch it and use your arm. Do you see why I get frustrated? You see why I get pissed off? You should be too, because this stuff is coming down the line, and guess what? You're not going to have a choice in the matter. You're not going to have a choice anymore. You're not going to have the freedom or the liberty to say, oh, hell no, I ain't taking that. I ain't getting the RFID chip in my hand. You can kiss my ass. You won't have the freedom to do that, folks. They'll just snag you, snatch you up from wherever you are, take you to a facility somewhere, plug that puppy into your arm, and send you on your way. Oh, we got to watch that guy. He's a patriot. He's a pro-constitutionalist. He likes that old school constitution. We don't have that anymore because we abolished it, but he likes that, so we better watch him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mr. Brian Lang, I'd like to get you on the show at some point. Mr. Brian Lang over at livetruthradio.com. Also, wakingupthemasses.com. Go check that show out. Awesome, awesome show. He does a great job. Also, go check out, if you would please, thank you, go check out Kicking the Capstone with your host, Bob Brutus. Yeah. You want to talk about names, places, dates, and history? Holy crap. He's a walking encyclopedia. You want to know it? He's got it. Hey, folks, come join me tomorrow on the Views Express Live right here on the Free America Radio Network on wakingupthemasses.com, freeamericaradio.us. Go to the emergency food supply tab on the top of the page to get your food supply and to help out Free America Radio Network in the process. Also, wakingupthemasses.com, Spreaker.com, 1610 a.m. in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. If you want to be a guest on the show, email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's freeamericaradio@usa.com. You folks are awesome. Yes, I shall be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. Remember, we the people have the power, for we are America.